Welcome to the Dead Bedroom Revival Podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode because I've not had a chance to make these episodes, especially today. The whole of the southern side of the UK came to a standstill because we had so much snow. Up north, they have snow every year, but every sort of 2 or 3 years, we have loads of snow. And then down south, we don't know what to do with ourselves. So all the schools were closed. My kid wouldn't go to school. Or she couldn't go to school because it was closed. My wife had to stay at home as well. So it was pretty good because my wife and daughter had some time building a snowman and sledging and so that, which was fun for them. Not fun for my wife, but fun for my daughter. So that was pretty cool because I also got to rest because I didn't want to travel tired. So because I was going to be traveling at night. So, I mean, it sort of worked out in a way that was pretty good. But obviously for you guys, you normally would have released an episode by afternoon, usually UK time. But anyways, that out of the way, we've got a lot to unpack this whole week because I think I want to have steady episodes coming in. But we've got lots to unpack, and I'm really excited to be doing this because I've had a lot of discovery calls with many people, and there's a common theme when it comes to these discovery calls. And by the way, these discovery calls, it's us really mapping out your very next steps in order to resolve your sexless relationship. So it's just this one-on-one conversation that we have, and I ask you questions, you tell me about your relationship, and based on the questions and based on your answers, it tells us what level of help we can give you if you want. And if you do want some help, then obviously there's a charge towards that. So again, it's not a high pressure sales, which most people do not want to go on because they think they're going to be sold something, and then they're going to be pressurized. There's never going to be a time where you're going to feel pressured to be sold. So that's a shameless plug from me. But again, we will sort of walk you through the different steps that you might need to resolve your relationship. And then if you want us to help you on a personal level or within a group setting, then we'll give you the offer for that, and obviously be able to make a decision based on that. So that's a shameless plug of our discovery call. But at the same time, one of the things that I hear the most is that I've tried everything in order to resolve my sexless relationship, and I've got no doubt that you have. But there's one thing that you need to, most things need to understand. And I remember when I was trying to resolve my relationship, and again, I'd not gone out and shouted it out the rooftops that, I need sex to my wife or anything like that. I knew that it wasn't right for me to go and tell her that I need more sex, because I knew for some reason it would put pressure on her. And what I was afraid of was not for her to say no. What I was afraid of was for her to say yes and then sort of give me pity sex, because that was going to be just as worse than her not giving me any. So for some reason, I just sort of held back, and then I just went into this sort of thing where I was trying to fix this. So that meant sort of weekends away. That meant sort of dinner, cooking dinners, candlelight, doing massages, and I was doing all these things. It even went as far as just really trying to do anything and everything. Then I really discovered this one day that I wasn't trying to impress her in any way. I was just trying to be really intentional. So I felt this feeling of wanting to be close to her. And it was that when I was trying to feel close to her, I did not do anything special. And we were sitting there on the sofa, turned off the TV, and just started playing cards. And as we were playing cards, started dancing and started talking. And we had this really amazing moment where we connected, and then we ended up having an amazing sexual experience. And as that happened, I realized that it wasn't the playing of the cards. It wasn't the other trinkets that made that thing happen. It was the emotions I was feeling at the time. And you have to understand this, that when you've felt rejection and you've been rejected in terms of in a sexual way, and again, when they say rejection, I don't mean that they've completely short of sex. They're just not feeling sex within the relationship at the time. And when I say we, I mean, you end up getting into this mindset where you feel like you need to do certain things in order to change things. So your intent actually starts going against the actual seduction process. So your intention of wanting to have sex actually works against you when you start working to try and force it and make it happen. But when you sort of fix yourself, again, it always comes down to yourself. When you get the way you feel right, which is you feel, if you start, really recognizing yourself that maybe the reason why you're in a sexless relationship isn't because you're ugly, isn't because there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with her. If you just understand the circumstance, that whatever circumstance that's caused you to come to this point is as a result of behaviors that both of you have done and you've both contributed to this sexless relationship. Under all of that, there's that part of you that feels love for that person and that feels like you couldn't live without that person. And when you can harness that and then harness that feeling of feeling empowered and being a good husband, being a good dad, and really focusing on those things and really just focusing on smaller things. And in fact, focusing on the really small things within your life, and as you accumulate those small things, it becomes something bigger. So, and I'm sort of now losing myself in terms of the conversation, what I'm trying to say here, but let me just backtrack a little bit. So what I'm trying to say here is this. If you focus on the little things, so working out, really looking after your mind is in terms of working out, reading books, taking time for yourself, going, playing golf, and really being more building up on yourself, the more you feel good about yourself, when you now add the intention after that, it becomes more powerful. So when I say add the intention, when you start doing the dating and doing the candlelight dinners, when you do it from a place where you're feeling good about yourself, it becomes powerful. When you do it from a place of, I feel rejected, I feel unloved, and I'm trying to turn things by doing this, that's when it becomes self-destructive. So it doesn't matter what you do. And again, I'm preaching to the choir here because you already know what I'm talking about, because you've tried to go and pull out all the stops, even the most expensive hotel at one point, and still it didn't feel like you made any progress. So it becomes very important to understand this bit, that it's not enough to have the intent. And this is where most of the guys, when they come to me and say, I've tried everything, this is where it comes from, that they feel like they've done all this thing and it's still not worked. And again, it comes back to not just the things that you've done, it's the intent that you had behind it that becomes the most important thing. So again, if you want to learn more about this, it's go to deadbedroomrevival.com. I learned this the hard way because I went through a process of just really trying so many things, and all of a sudden it felt defeated at one point, just thinking like there's nothing that I can ever do to change the situation. But until I sort of let go and just focused on really building myself and really becoming a better version of myself where I'm happy within myself. And again, to a certain extent, I even got to the point where it didn't even matter if she wanted to have sex with me. Like, I was just happy with being a good dad and providing and doing, like, I was happy. And that created almost this vacuum where she just wanted to be more, because I was not even showing that intent or the sexual intent anymore. And she now felt like, oh my God, why is he not showing me sexual intent? I think there was some sort of reverse psychology that ended up happening, because there was this sort of flip. The fact that I wasn't showing that sexual intent made her feel like, oh, why is he not showing me sexual intent? She started questioning her sexual place within the relationship, and then therefore she started making moves. So it was now just this mutual seduction thing going on. But I think a lot of it started off from this place here, that the negative part of the relationship didn't fuel me trying to change the relationship. I allowed that negative part of the relationship to allow to change me to change. And then once I started changing, and when I say changing, I mean really feeling good about myself, feeling happy about myself, not allowing rejection to be what's making me happy or not happy. When I started letting go of all of that and really just not having this dependency on this outcome of us having sex, I let go of all of that. That's when things started becoming amazing, because even when I tried to seduce, it would come off quite easy because I just did not have that. She didn't feel obligated, because even when you do all of that stuff, part of it just feels like some sort of manipulation, that you're only doing this in order to get into my knickers. And there's that feeling. Whenever she feels that, it becomes unattractive. It becomes, the seduction ends. So when you are completely removed from that outcome, completely removed from the actual result, your intentions become pure. And I know it sounds woo-woo, and I'm so sorry if it's not, it sounds like completely bonkers, but if you bear with me, honestly, this is one of the things that has changed. And this is why I'm making this episode, because I've had enough of guys telling me that they've tried everything, but really they haven't really. They have tried things. They've had the intent to try everything, but the intention was in the wrong place, and that's the reason why it didn't work. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. And I'm really happy that you've listened up to this point. And if you want to learn more about this, go to www.deadbedroomrevival.com, and we'll be able to give you some trainings and also give you a link to your Facebook group. Go and join the Facebook group. And this week I'm going to be doing some lessons. I think I'm going to do this outcome dependency lesson, where I'm going to show you how I actually let go of my outcome dependency, and then use that to really start coming and start doing better seduction within my relationship. So thank you very much for listening. I'll be speaking to you guys soon. Take care.